It was here in Brisbane, within the communicable disease branch of Queensland Health, that Dr. Mike Karma undertook his placement. Mike is a senior medical officer at the Fiji Centre for Communicable Disease Control at the Ministry of Health in Fiji. So working here was a perfect fit.
There's basically a gap in terms of our systems development at home. This is an area that I thought that I would come and focus on, especially in our surveillance and laboratory programs that we have at home in my field of specialty. I've been at the communicable disease branch of Queensland Health for the past 2 weeks, and during that time I've worked with the various directors of the different units for communicable disease branch, examining the operations and the systems within those units.
Dr. Karma has a Masters of Laboratory Medicine at the University of Western Australia, so the opportunity to immediately apply his academic knowledge in the context of an Australian organisation has proved invaluable. During his placement, Dr. Karma had the opportunity to spend a week in Cairns, looking at the implementation of public health strategies. And he also travelled to the beautiful Torres Strait Islands as part of the Dengue Action Response Team.
The highlight for me was this trip on Torres Strait Island, because not only do I get to see a place that I just hear about, but now we get to experience how wonderful it is.
The team commuted between Horn Island and Thursday Island, looking at mosquito surveillance and control.
This trip basically allows me to look at the implementation of a strategy to contain a particular mosquito like Aedes albopictus, which is a nasty little mosquito.
Dr. Odwell Musari from the Cairns Public Health Unit was Dr. Karma's supervisor during his placement in the Torres Strait.
Since Mike has been here, we have discussed a lot of things, and I now know better about what they do in Fiji in terms of how they approach to mosquito-borne disease control, and in turn he also gets to understand what we do here. We're just focusing on one thing, Aedes albopictus, which is one of the exotic species that has recently been found around the Torres Strait Islands.
What we did this morning was to go out into sites that have already been identified as high-risk areas or properties, and then capture some mosquitoes from there using the human baiting, as they call it, I guess. Yeah, so we allow the mosquitoes to land on any part of our body, and then we scoop it up using those mosquito net, and then we suck it up through the aspirator. And then we put it into one of those yellow vials, and then that gets sent off for an entomologist like Odwell to identify. Yeah. So this the female, or is it the male also?
This is just a smaller male.
Smaller male.
Yeah, right. Otherwise it's antenna is quite bushy.
Yeah.
For both of them, this is just a bit smaller, but they both have got a bushy antenna. Yeah, so it means there's actually a lot of breeding going on around here. There is a breeding site close to this point here. So we collect the mosquitoes of interest. After work, we look at them under the microscope to identify which species they are.
So there are certain features of the mosquito that basically describes it into a species of a particular mosquito, and whether it's a male or female and all the other features that come with it. We don't actually associate it with the actual disease, whether it's around in that area or not. Yeah, that's for another surveillance, the human surveillance part of the mosquito program.
And having done that, we then plot points on the map to show exactly where the albopictus has been collected. And so we have an idea of the distribution of the mosquitoes at the particular point in time. Then that guides us to now do the control operation.
This is the first house we're at today. What we've been looking for is containers holding water that can potentially hold water. What we do is we'll tip them over if we can, remove them, put them out of the weather, treat them if we have to, take samples of larvae. At the end of the inspection, we'll be giving them the pest advice with information about what we've done, what we've treated, any samples we've taken, and try to give them some advice about how to avoid having mosquito breeding on their property again. And that piece of information we will leave with the householder. The final piece of the day is to do the PDA. Click on the information there, and what this does is capture all the information of what we've done, what we left behind, and that'll later go into the main database back in Cairns, and that'll be a permanent record for everybody to look at.
Communicable diseases are the leading cause of morbidity and the third leading cause of mortality in Fiji. Dr. Karma believes his placement has provided him with the skills to design and implement a more effective communicable disease control system in Fiji.
Basically, it'll just give me that other edge into developing my skills as a whole, in a holistic format.
This program plays a very important role in achieving that objective. And obviously, when he gets back home, we will continue communicating and maybe working on some collaborative projects in times to come. I think it's one of the best ways to get the region to work together. There's scientists from around the region, professionals of all different disciplines. That exchange of ideas actually does help a lot in us combining to combat the spread of diseases among the Pacific countries. So I would really encourage that this program is taken up by as many people as possible.
And I think the experience that is gained from this particular program will be priceless, and I would really encourage people to go for it.